Good evening. This is B.A. Nagesh, MA Political Science and International Relations and Public Administration. Today we do a unit in governance GS2 vulnerable groups. As I said earlier, GS2 governance carries the bulk of the marks in the paper of GS2. Polity and international relations come next. If I see the pattern of questions in the previous years, the maximum number of marks comes in GS2 governance. Then you have international relations around 60 to 70 marks. Remaining comes in polity. So in General Studies 2, we have a unit on vulnerable groups. So before we do this particular question, a general discussion on who are the vulnerable groups. See, vulnerable groups are those which require special care and protection by the government. They are the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, the OBC, minorities, women, children, differently abled, and the aged. These are the vulnerable groups which are categorized and looked after by the government. There is one more group which requires very like what shall I say? There's one more group which requires the attention of government. That is the contract labor. I've taken up this question basically in the context of the attack on an MNC plant in Karnataka, a plant which was a subsidiary of Apple. It is called Wistron in Winstron. So here the contract laborers went on strike. They destroyed the property because they were not paid, and the contractor was nowhere to be seen. A lot of labor regulations have been violated. So this is one sector which requires proper monitoring, handling, and the attention of the government. That is the contract labor. See the question for discussion. There is urgent need to regulate the working conditions of contract labor. Substantiate with reference to the backdrop of the Winstron violence. Winstron is an MNC, a subsidiary of Apple, which was attacked by the contract laborers as they were not paid. Now, as in other questions, we have an introduction. Then we go to the what are the main issues relating to the contract workers? What are the issues of concern? So, discussion on these three headings, I propose to complete my answer in 150 words. First, the introduction. Contract workers are at the center of much disputes. You go to any place, you find the contract workers being the center of the dispute. This is because of a dichotomy. See, the contractor arranges for them, he is responsible for the payment of wages. The principal employer is responsible for welfare activities. And there is a heavy demand for contract workers by the industry. With this introduction, I go to the main issues related to the contract workers. Now, the contract workers account for 36.4% of the total production workers in the registered factory sector. So the share of the contract workers in the industrial sector is around 36.4%. How do you define a contract worker? A contract worker is no different from a regular worker because he also gets wages. He does the job of a regular worker. He does the job of a regular worker, but he receives lower wages, limited social security benefits, and operates under poor working conditions. So here you should see the plight of the contract worker. He does the job of regular worker, but paid less, no social security, and very bad working conditions. Always under the scare of uncertainty. Now government introduced the option of fixed term employment. Now this fixed term employment is introduced in the Industrial Relations Code 2020. What do we mean by this fixed term employment? By this I mean workers can be hired without the help of a middleman. They do the same hours of work as other employees. They get allowances. So this eliminates the need of a middleman. The fixed term employment introduced in the Industrial Relations Code of 2020. While this is a welcome feature in the sense that the middleman is removed and the company can hire them directly, but the main problem is they can be terminated without notice. They cannot claim payment in lieu of termination of services or as a result of non-renewal of contract, and then there are no retrenchment benefits. So these are the main issues of the fixed term employment. The fixed term employment code, which is a part of the code of Industrial Relations 2020, allows the management to recruit workers directly, paying them the same allowance as a regular employee with fixed hours of work, like a regular worker. But the main problem in this fixed term employment is direct. The employees are not entitled to termination notice. They can be terminated at any time. Then they cannot claim payment in lieu of services, which is a result of non-renewal of contract. Then they do not have any retrenchment benefits. So basically, why this why this feature is introduced in the Industrial Relations Code is flexibility to enterprises to adjust their workforce according to the requirements. Now the company requires urgently, they require laborers to carry out their operations. So this flexibility is given to them without a middleman and without all the hassles of recruitment. They can take, and the employees are paid regular salary. They are paid the same allowances, but again the hitch is they can be removed without notice. They do not have permanency of tenure. Issues of concern. Now, the code on industrial relations does not specify the number, or what shall I say, the code on industrial relations does not specify a minimum tenure for fixed term employees. So again here there is an uncertainty when you do not specify, when you speak of fixed term employment. So how long you are going to keep them with you? So again uncertainty. Then no clarity on the number of times the contract can be renewed with an employee. So the employee is finishes one assignment with the company. Now whether the same employee can be hired again, there is no clarity. Then there is movement of labor from one company to the other, from one company to another, without assurance of getting absorbed as a permanent worker. Now, when there is so much of movement of labor force from one company to other, now the worker would have got experience working in one particular company, and when he goes to another company, that added advantage the new firm should see and provide security of tenure or give him assurance of being absorbed. This clarity is not there in the Industrial Relations Code of 2020. So what the management feels, hiring of contract workers is cheaper than fixed term workers. Now for a fixed term worker, what happens? The company has to treat him on par with the regular employee, same hours, same fixed hours, and the same allowances. This will work out costlier for a company. It is more cheaper to arrange or to hire contract workers than going in for fixed term workers. financially it does not benefit a company. Then the other problem which we speak of, see the legal compliance, monitoring, compliance to statutory regulations, then litigation. All this is shifted to the contractor. You see, you take the Winstron case, a subsidiary of Apple, where the company was attacked by the contract workers. Now, the company washes its hand by saying that all the compliances are the prerogative of the contractor. This is a major problem with arranging or engaging contract labor, and the what shall I say, responsibility fixed on a contractor for so many issues, while the management washes its hand of the issue. Now, the labor code on occupational safety and health allows use of contract workers in core activities to be completed in a specified time. Now, the if a company wants to complete is engaged in core activities, they want the task to be specified to be completed in a specified time. It permits the use of contract workers. So a lot of contradictions are there in the conditions of in the working conditions of contract labor. As I told you, how their working conditions are not regulated, and even the provision in the Industrial Relations Code 2020, though it speaks of a fixed term employment by making the by provision for direct employment without the middleman and regulating their working conditions and providing equal allowances as the regular employees. But here, what happens again? I told you, fear of retrenchment, then no benefits if the employee is removed, no security of tenure. The Industrial Relations Code does not allow, what do I tell? It does not allow any permanency. Now, if the employee is shifting from one assignment to another, there is no guarantee that he would be absorbed in the next venture. Finally, we also speak of the how all the complications, if any, which arise in the event of the company not following the regulations or any legal matters which arise, it is purely the responsibility of the contractor, since he has had since he has hired the labor. So this dichotomy and shifting of responsibility to a contractor absolves the company of any obligations, and the net result is the fate of the contract labor without proper working conditions, with uncertainty, with no retrenchment benefits. So what I would like to stress is this is the contract labor should be treated as a vulnerable group because they are at the mercy of the management. They do all the work of a regular employee, but still they do not have security of tenure, they do not have any retrenchment benefits, and there's no guarantee of absorption. Even if they keep changing places. And the Industrial Relations Code, no doubt, of 2020, no doubt, introduced a new concept called fixed term employment to reduce the influence of the middlemen and permitting the companies to hire employees directly and pay them the same working conditions. But again, here the Industrial Relations Code should have made provision for absorption on satisfactory completion of service. It should have provided for, like, what shall I say, benefits if they are removed. So a lot of lacuna, lot of loopholes are there in the Industrial Relations Code. So there is urgent need to regulate their working conditions and bring them on par with the regular employees. This is the pressing need which should engage the attention of the policymakers. Thank you.